Is it too early for beer? I only have beer at the studio, so don't judge me. Need something to drink. Don't got no water, and I'm not drinking spigot water. Sue me. They say put lemon in it, but these motherfuckers told us that it was a latex spill here in the Schuylkill River that's causing Philadelphia water to be contaminated. And I'm like, I didn't know we was drinking out the Schuylkill. I ain't drinking that shit, man. I don't even want to shower in it. It's crazy. I would never swim in it. So why the hell would I be drinking it? I didn't even know I was drinking it. That's crazy. But if you want to know why I'm drinking a beer, because I ain't got no bottled water left, and I ain't drinking not a goddamn thing out the sink. Not even Kool-Aid. To Nigeria. Young Money was good. My guy Matt was good. I don't got my glasses either, so sue me. He said elbow call. Yes, sir. What's up, Tommy Montoya? He said Dallas Cowboys for life. New setup. No, my daughter with me. She and I got a wellness center, so I'll be all over the building. I didn't want to sit downstairs because I didn't want her to have her TV on right next to me. So I came upstairs, and I didn't want to sit in the main area where I sit sometimes because that's where the TV is, and I don't want to hear it while I'm doing this. So I'm in the lab right now. This is like the BBL lab. You know what I'm saying? We got a sauna right here. I'll give y'all a little tour, maybe. Let's see. Got the sauna here. Little BBL lab back there. Bathroom was over there. And another sauna. But that's all. That's the setup. So no, not a new setup. Same setup, just different part of the building. What's up? Who that? Sadiqa Charles, what's up? Joseph Jefferson was good. He said, "What do you think? What do you think, Okoye? Let me hear it about Trey." Oh, I'm getting there, bro. I'm just letting y'all ease your way in the building. I don't want to start talking too early. J Day, what's good? Hold on, let me get that shit out of here. Come on, man. All right. What's up? What's up? Chris Davis, they calling Trey a bust, and that's not fair. Oh yeah, I mean whatever. Dak is QB1. Trey is the future. I mean, yeah, you can say whatever you want. Like you can kind of like talk about it however you want to talk about it. I'm just listening to what Jerry Jones is talking about and his energy. And that's what my responses on Twitter were based on. It was like, hey man, the owner look a little too happy to get you out of here, to get somebody in here to possibly push you. I don't think this season, though, is talking about Trey Lance. Let's just talk about it. I don't think this season will mean anything to Dak Prescott, but it's not about whether he's threatening to play this season or replace Dak this season. That's not it. That's not but that's what everybody keeps discussing. Like that's what Skip's discussing. That's what everybody's talking about. They're like, yeah, Trey Lance is this versus Dak. Trey Lance hasn't done anything for Dak to be afraid of playing time. That's not what it's about. And Dak's been competing since the beginning. So I don't think he's worried about a competition of sorts. It's not about that. That's not about that. See what I'm saying? It's about the ownership in the front office and what going after a quarterback like Trey Lance when you have two good backup quarterbacks. Greer is okay. Can you win games with him if you play around him? And we know Cooper Rush is okay because we won games with him. Hold on. Lee, come in, Lee. What's going on? There's nothing in there. What do you want from out of there? Okay, well, we're going to go eat after we leave here. You just had a snack, right? All right, so finish watching your movie until I'm done, okay? All right, go ahead. Close the door. Anyway, summer camp is over, so I'm on daddy duty. But what was I saying? Damn, it fucked me up. It's not about that, but it's not about whether or not Trey Lance is going to play this year because I don't think he's going to play. Like I said, Cooper Rush has proved that we can win with Cooper Rush, so it's not about having a quality backup like everybody's talking about. That's bullshit too. This is a chess move predicated on money. It's just about money. And those of you who are, it doesn't matter if you black, white, or old or whatever. We've all heard of or been around a facility or an organization where someone who doesn't want to pay you because they know you are outpacing the pay scale that they would like to stick to, they bring in your replacement for you to train your replacement. You've all seen it. This ain't exclusive to football. We've all seen this done. I've trained sales reps that all of a sudden started getting siphoned to my clients. And I'm like, well, how the hell? Why is he getting my clients? Oh, yeah, you hadn't called this client in 3 months. Yes, I have. I just called him from my cell phone or email him though. I used to have to fight the case to try to keep some of my clients when I was in online reputation management, right? So it's the same thing. I know this game, man. I know this game. You're training the boss's nephew. You're like, I wonder what he's here for. It's only one chair here. So what could he be here for? And we've all seen this done in the NFL as well with both Joe Montana, Steve Young. We've seen it with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, where you bring in a guy who has talent but needs time to develop, and there's no pressure upon that time because the talent ahead of him is not like a Tommy Maddox and a Ben Roethlisberger, or even it's not like it's not like that where it's like you got a guy that you want to push out of there, but you got a better guy behind him. It's not like that. You got a guy who's in front of him who can play. So Dak, as long as Dak is playing well, doesn't bother the Cowboys organization. They don't give a damn, because the more time Dak extends his level of play, the longer Trey has to develop behind him. And when they start seeing, but if Dak goes down, or if they start seeing that Dak is slipping, or if they start to argue about contract moving forward in the future, you have the ultimate insurance policy. And the reason I know that this is more than just, I just want to make my team better. This is more about that chess move is because of the elation on Jerry Jones's face. Jerry Jones is acting like when he talked about it, I just want to get it done. I haven't seen him speak that confidently about Dak, I don't think ever. I mean, he says, yeah, Dak Prescott is our quarterback, or we got Dak. I've heard him say a couple of like votes of confidence, but never like the eagerness to make sure Dak is around or this is his team or none of that. I haven't seen none of that. But this dude was like, I just wanted to get it done. Like, what? What you talking about? So we did it like that. We didn't even think about it. Like, what? Yo, Jerry is a savage, man. So that's the angle I'm looking at it from. This is a money play. This is not Dak's in trouble this year, maybe not even next year. It doesn't matter because the longer that Dak extends his level of play, the better it is for the Cowboys insurance policy because they can ensure that Trey Lance is actually really ready when he actually gets up and plays. When people are saying this is the future, like Dak ain't planning on retiring no time soon. So, even when you call it the future of what? What are you talking about? The future? What you mean the future? You know what I'm saying? Like how long you think Trey Lance is about to sit on the bench? So it's only a couple of things that can happen, and it's all in Dak's hands, which is the good thing. That's the good thing for him. You win and you keep winning. Then you'll have a Jimmy Garoppolo situation or a Matt Castle situation, because the Patriots try to do it to him too. It's not exclusive to that. The Patriots try to get guys that could potentially replace Tom Brady too. And Tom was like, hey man, I'm gonna just keep balling out every time I get in here. Y'all gonna keep shipping these motherfuckers out because once they get to a level where they're ready to play and they're good enough to play, and people see it in preseason or you see him when he's injured. Okay, now you got to do something with them because they want money too once they're at that level, and quarterbacks are hard to come by. So Trey Lance is either going to get shipped out for high trade bait or trade value later if he can show in a glimpse that he's able to play and Dak is playing at still a high enough level to stay here, or Trey Lance is going to severely dampen the ability for Dak to get the money that he wants moving forward because they have a guy that they're willing to take a shot on behind him if he's showing that type of promise. And they're asking Dak to get him ready. That's the crazy shit, man. They're asking Dak to get him ready. Now, he didn't ask him that directly, like, Dak, get him ready. But what do you think? He said it out of his own mouth. He said, we can have him here learn under Dak. Like, what the fuck? You say, and then you saying it publicly at that. Like, Jerry is a savage, man. Jerry is a savage. That's what I think about it. I think that it's all about money. It's not about people who think it's a controversy or Trey Lance is better. Trey Lance is not better than Dak Prescott right now, but he's talented and he has the opportunity to learn what Dak Prescott knows while with no pressure. You know, he's not, although he's a third overall pick, he no longer has the third overall pick pressure to perform or shit or get off the pot, you know, now, which is why he's out of San Fran. Now he got plenty of time to just rest and recuperate. You know, think Geno Smith-esque. Not even, he hasn't even fallen as far as a Geno Smith, but you know what I mean? It's like a guy that's a first round talent that has the opportunity to just sit and become a veteran without the pressure. That speaks volumes for most quarterbacks. Because let's face it, a lot of these quarterbacks that come out of college are good quarterbacks. That's why they're here. But they don't all go into a situation where they have the time or the right coaching staff or the right situation to be able to grow and develop on the team they need to, whether they don't have the talent around them or they might have a coach who might have wanted them and drafted them, and then that coach gets fired and there's a new regime. Those types of things happen where good quarterbacks don't get the ample opportunity to develop due to circumstance, right? So I don't look at any of them like the bums. That's the point. Some of them have tendencies that need to be worked out, but Trey Lance is a problem. Man. He was a problem coming out in 2021. And then think about the year he came out. He came out during the post-COVID or the COVID debacle, right? Number one, he couldn't be with his team, so he didn't get the first year of development with them. And then after being set back from the lack of development that he didn't get in OTAs and those types of things that most teams do when you're bringing in rookies, he then broke his finger, which changed his throwing motion, changed his grip, also took time away from the chemistry he had with his guys as well. So you had backup guys or other guys like Garoppolo and Purdy that were getting more acclimated with that team while he was sitting and resting. And then next year he breaks his ankle. So more time away. So I think Trey Lance is less of a bust and more of a guy who just really never really got the right chance to perform due to circumstance or due to things that may have happened to him. So him sitting on the bench and just learning, you know, the cerebral side, him being on the scout team. Now, I'll get into this in a second, but and someone remind me to circle back to it. The scouting, the defense is probably going to benefit the most on the short term, on the front end from Trey Lance because of the scout team. The one problem that I guess we weren't duplicating very well in practice, but the one problem that we had when it came to the run was running quarterbacks due to us not staying in our lanes, us not containing properly, things like that. When you got a Trey Lance on your scout team, on your practice squad, who is, you know, able to simulate those types of quarterbacks, every week you're practicing against this guy, it's going to make the defense, as far as our edge control and our edge discipline, I think is going to go through the roof because that's the one thing that we're suffering with. And that's the one thing that we know he can come in here and do that right now. I don't give a fuck how he's throwing the ball. He can come in and run as a quarterback in practice right now and give us looks that we're not getting from Will Grier. Will Grier and Cooper Rush are like, you know, your average quarterback as far as running. They can run for a first down here and there, but they're not like an athletic running quarterback. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a different look. So that part of it for the defense is tremendous, I think. Trey has barely played, so to call him a bust is truly unfair. Jerry has never put his hands around Dak, and Dak has never put his hands around Jerry. I think Dak wants to put his hands around Jerry's throat right now, but you're right. You're right about that. Trey Lance going to be a backup QB. That Grand Prescott. I don't know what you mean. I guess you mean for Dak Prescott. Let's see what Matt said. The only way Trey hits the field this year is if Prescott gets hurt. Jerry did have the energy though at the presser. It's the energy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too. It's the energy. It's not the signing. It's how excited you are. Like you got a new toy. Number one. I mean, I get it. You got Dak in the 4th round. He's a top 10 quarterback. Then you just got a first round talent for the fourth round pick too. So as far as front office goes, you winning. And anybody who's wondering why I'm drinking beer, I live in Philadelphia and I don't got no bottles of water. It was either beer or nothing, and I need something to drink. So I'm not an early beer drinker, but whatever. I needed something to drink. But anyway, yeah, we don't drink faucet water around here because they spilled latex in the water, just as a sidebar. And then they told us that that water was like, it's the dirtiest river that's around here. And I didn't even know we were drinking out that river. But once I realized that, I'm like, well, what that got to do with us? They spilled latex in the school kill. So what? Like, that's what you drink out of. Oh, fuck no. Won't be drinking that. And then they said that it was over after like a weekend. You know, the latex is gone. Bullshit. Yeah, that shit's still in there. But anyway, yeah, we don't drink the water around here. But yeah, we were talking about Jerry at the presser. Jerry was excited at the presser. That's number one. And then two is like this. Okay. When you know that, you know, you see guys like Hurts get paid, and that's another thing he brought up. Like, you see guys like Hurts get paid, you see Hurts, you know, break the bank. So, you know, that's gonna help Dak moving forward. Jerry is playing with Dak's money at this point. He's leveraging against that. But the things that he didn't have to do, we know that Hurts is an interdivisional quarterback that plays against us. Why the fuck would you say, even if it's true, nobody asked you, Jerry? Why the fuck would you say, well, if Hurts would have been there, we'd have took him too? What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, that is crazy. He said if Hurts was there, we took him. But I mean, that might be true, but that didn't happen. There's plenty of players that play for other teams that you probably would have drafted had you gotten the opportunity. Why name Hurts knowing that he's a quarterback that just went to the Super Bowl in our division? Why do that? You know what I mean? That's like a slap in the face to Dak. I don't get it. I don't get. They don't like each other. I don't think. You know, I really don't. You can't tell me that they do. Like, that they sound crazy, and it's not a racial thing because Trey and Hurts is black than a motherfucker. He just don't like Dak. You know, he don't like Dak. So I don't know why, but he don't like. I could tell. Like, maybe it's the negotiation aspect of it. I don't know. Maybe they went at it. But I think Jerry looks at football and business as a game. This is his Madden or his PS5. So when he wins a business deal, when he wins on a injured player that pans out, when he wins on anything where he gets value or added value for less, I think that, you know, that tickles Jerry's fancy, so to speak. You know what I mean? I think they're hesitant to pay because Dak's playoff woes. They should be because there has been issues. Um, when you say playoff woes, bro, like that sound like, you know, Dak was just playing horrible in the playoffs and throwing like multiple interceptions and crazy shit in the play. Oh, he was. That's crazy. It's like, no, we fuck with you. There's quarterback. My point is quarterbacks that have played just as bad, if not worse, that are legends now that I've already showed that in the Dak Prescott breakdown. Like, Peyton Manning was the worst in the playoffs. Like, he was the worst. I mean, the worst. I mean, he lost to Herm Edwards, Jets, 41 to nothing. And to end the game, he threw a pick six. Like, Dak ain't never did that. Now, if Dak did that, I already know what y'all do to him, the way y'all already don't like him. So, yeah, I don't even buy it. I don't buy it because of the playoff woes. Tony Romo was a playoff dickhead. Like, the Seattle game where all he had to do was hold a kick. He missed that. Like, he was that guy too. So it ain't that because he loved Tony Romo. So it got nothing to do with the playoff woes, bro. You're wrong. I mean, you might not like him because of that, but that ain't why Jerry don't like him. Maybe Jerry thinks this will push Dak more. That ain't why. He ain't trying to motivate that guy. We don't if we don't touch the Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years, that could be what he's waiting on. If Dak doesn't at least get to a bowl, it may be wraps. Even if Dak gets to a bowl, he's still looking to pull that cord. I think. I just like you're talking about a man who still won't acknowledge that Jimmy Johnson should be in the Ring of Honor based off of he said he didn't do enough or some shit like that. He's like, what? He said some answer that's talking about we're talking about the whole body of work and what he done for the organization. He's done a lot for the organization. What the fuck are you talking about? So we're talking about this guy. And you think that a Super Bowl means that Dak is going to be safe? Like, you crazy. The only reason he would be safe is because people like the fans would probably look at him like he's crazy if we won a Super Bowl and then Trey Lance comes in here and does nothing right after the fact. But no, no, wrong again. But I mean, stranger things have happened, man. So I wanted to discuss the Dak end of it just because I just thought it was funny. I was cracking up watching Jerry Jones because everybody else is sitting here, talking about the play, like Trey Lance is gonna play. Trey Lance is not playing, bro. It ain't got nothing. They don't even want him to play. They want him to sit like Aaron Rodgers, get as good as you can get, learn this team, learn this offense, be this simplified offense. This ain't Kellen Moore's offense either. Simplified offense, and they expect him to come in and do what he does. Now, when you talk about the preseason as a whole, the preseason has been, to me, the most exciting preseason I've watched, I think, ever. I haven't seen. I watched the entire preseason. I was pissed off that they kept doing those fucking sideline cameos while I'm trying to watch the broadcast action. Like, get the fuck. I don't care what Stephen Jones thinks. I don't care what Michael Gallup is thinking right now. Like, they was talking to them for too long. They were just having full-on monologues with the commentators. Like, I'm trying to watch the game. Get them the fuck out of here. But it was good preseason, man. Like, there's a lot of guys that stood out that I think definitely won when it comes to preseason. And I'm gonna make my list here so I don't forget nobody, just in case somebody pops into my mind. But I think first and foremost, we got to figure out what we're doing. And I know he's gonna be on the field for some reason. I don't know what that reason is gonna be. They're gonna get him on the field because I keep hearing him. It's one thing when your coach is asked about you and they talk about you in the presser. It's another thing when your coach welcomes your name, and brings it up on their own. And that's Wanye Thomas, man. Wanye Thomas, Dan Quinn has brought up Wanye Thomas and the fact that he deserves a right to play on two different occasions now. And what I've seen from Wanye Thomas, for me anyway, I don't doubt it. I agree. He has range. They put him everywhere in the box, in the slot, in the nickel. They put him single high, too high. They've played him in every safety situation and linebacker situation you can think of this preseason, and he's done nothing but make plays. So he's a guy that's going to push one of these guys to either get traded or they're going to come up with a new scheme to get him on the field, because I ain't going to say he's the best safety that we have, but it's a good argument because he hasn't played with the ones yet. He's played against preseason players, so he can be had. But we remember Donald Wilson was showing those big paws on the pup too, and then Chris Richard buried him on the bench, a long time ago. Donald Wilson was getting interceptions in the preseason. I think against the Texans, he had a mean game, and then we set him down. So I don't want to see a repeat of that when it comes to Wanye. Wanye needs to play, and he can push some of these guys. Like, can he do what Hooker can do? Yeah, he can play single high. Can he do what Kurtz can do? Yeah. Can Kurtz do what Hooker does, though? No. So does it make him better than Kurtz? Can Hooker do what Kurtz does? No. Hooker is a guy that you want single high. Keep him out of the box. Kurtz is a guy that you want in the box or playing man up on tight ends. Keep him out of the single high safety position. Near the line of scrimmage, he can do it. Donald Wilson is a guy that can do a little bit of all three. He's not great single high, better in the box for sure, better coming forward and pursuit. But Wanye Thomas can do all those things. So I'm not going to say it because everybody thinks I'm just saying things to be controversial, but I'm just looking at the big paws on the pup. When I count the things that you're able to do, and then I count the things that your other guys are not able to do, does that make you better or does that make you more talented? You guys answer it, because when I say it, they're gonna jump on me on Twitter and make it seem like I'm just starting shit. But Wanye Thomas might be our best safety, period. I don't like saying period because they stole it. But he might be our best safety, for sure. For sure. So he's definitely a winner in this preseason. Can he sustain it? Can he do it consistently? We won't know. But what I don't want is him to backslide due to the fact that he's on the bench. So they're gonna have to work him in to certain schemes and so on. Exactly, Jermaine. He needs bulk work, but he has to be one of those guys that I think it's an argument between him and Dono. Dono's a hitter, so is he. The difference between him and Dono, man, when you try to block Wanye, I watch guys try to block him. I've been saying this, y'all know. Anybody who watches me during the games, I've been saying this, and I've been saying it. Where I say, hey, if a wide receiver tries to block you on your defensive end, you take him, fuck the play. Don't even try to make the play. Just take him and dump him on his fucking head because he shouldn't be touching you, right? Hold on. My daughter's still. Hold that thought. What's up, Lee? Okay, what happened? Your tooth? Okay. You all right? All right. Thank you. Yeah, so I watched Wanye run through guys' faces, pause, on a few occasions though, where they were trying to block him and he just running straight through them. On those screen passes, he reads, reacts, and assesses what's going on. He's not just an athlete that's just running wild. Like, he's reading and reacting to what's going on. He even pulled the Ed Reed. He just was a little bit too slow. He pulled the Ed Reed. He was on the far hash. He turned his hips inside, right, so that the quarterback would release the ball to the corner. Then he turns and gets over the top of the play. Ed Reed did that to Peyton Manning one time and intercepted it. Wanye was a second too slow, but the bait move that he used by just turning his hips inside and then wheeling right out. So he turns inside, knowing that once he shows his hips this way, the quarterback is going to throw it this direction. So he turns this way and then spins out. And you only see it on film, but he turns this direction and he spins out and darts to the corner. He made the quarterback throw it there. So again, he's a guy that I think definitely. Shout out to Joseph Jefferson too. Became a member. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Look, Shakhtar said he's definitely not the best. Hey, man, when I say he's the best, is he the best today? No, but with playing time, he will be guaranteed. I told you, Michael Parsons is going to be the best too. Was he the day one? No, but he was by the end of the season. I really think that that Wanye is definitely better than everyone probably other than Dono right now in that safety room. Talent-wise, what he can do that those other guys can't do. Dono can do those things. Like, Dono can give you some single high. Dono can give you some man coverage. Dono can give you some box play. But so can Wanye. The other two are one or the other. Yeah, Michael was solid in college, but nobody believed me still. Make sure y'all hit the like button. You're right, Sadiqa. I mean, I don't want to get excited too much on him because even Heath had moments. Heath ain't have games of moments though. I've seen him make play after play after play after play after play. So hype on him. But we can move on since y'all just know that this year's dark horse for me is Wanye Thomas, no doubt about it. If there was a 1A dark horse, you already know what I'm gonna say. I don't know if you guys agree, but it's Isaiah Land. Isaiah Land went from being a guy that I thought could just contribute on as a red shirt guy that might play, a year from now, 2 years from now, right? To a guy that I think is maybe the second best pass rusher, edge rusher on this team right now. I know Sam Williams is here. He's here. And I know that Fowler is here. But I think that Isaiah Land, what he's able to do so early while being quote unquote raw and undersized, what he's already doing and his ability to have an impact on the game is crazy to me. I think Slam Williams is definitely stronger, bigger, probably faster too. But I'm talking, when I say pass rusher, best pass rusher, I mean moves. He has. I've been watching him. Slam doesn't have that many moves. Slam was a two-gapping defensive end in college, so he's learning to use those hands. He's relying on his speed, his burst, his length, his sheer strength. Land is relying on skill. Like, he has the skill. So that's what I mean by that. Definitely better than Dorrance Armstrong as far as his pass rush moves and ability. So Land is one of those guys that's definitely he's a problem. Yes, Juan, appreciate the $10. He said, I think they know Lance will want revenge. You have a fired up QB with a change of environment. Might be something. Be something cool to see in 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. I agree with you there. Like 2 years. About that. About that. You did that twice. Oh no. Yeah, you did that twice. I don't think you meant to do that twice. Yes, Juan. I don't know how to give a super chat back, but you paid me twice, I think. I see this twice. So, what do you want me to do? I'll send it back to you, Cash App or something. Sam just has to grow mentally. Yeah. He said Land could put on some bulk and work on his hands a bit. He might get some sauce. Yeah. Sam ain't doing shit wrong, buddy. Was hit by a lady, even though he was speeding. He was hit and racially profiled. Man, Shark Talk, stop it, man. Listen, I never seen guys who got their head on straight get in trouble all that much, man. This dude get in trouble a lot. You gotta chill. So I ain't saying that he's like an asshole that's running wrong, but you can't tell me that he's a model student or a model citizen, man. He been in trouble since college, and he's still getting in trouble. He get in trouble in practice. He fight motherfuckers in practice. So Sam is a wild man, but I'm not here to tell you that wild man ain't needed on the team. You want wild man. I just want you to be wild when it's time to be wild. Like I said, it's a difference between Lyle Alzado and Bill Romanowski. You know what I'm saying? Warren Sapp. Oh, I like Warren Sapp kind of wild. And what's his name? What's the dude name who stepped on Andre Garrard's face from the Titans? What was his name? Hainsworth, Albert Hainsworth. That was a different kind of bull. See what I'm saying? Like, these dudes is crazy. So I like the Eric Williams types. Like, I'm gonna be dirty and be mean on the field. Yeah, do that. But you gotta relax off the field. You gotta relax, man. I don't want him to, shake himself out the league. When someone speaks about Dak, they're labeled a hater. You only label a hater when you ignore other quarterbacks that are worse, and you act like you don't see that. If you label what you see it. Cool. You don't like them, even that's cool. If you just don't like that, but you got to give me a reason why you don't like them other than the ones that are given. Like, when they start talking about his interceptions, yeah, 15 interceptions. Like, I've shown people with 31, who are greats, 28 on a regular, not one time. You know what I'm saying? So that argument don't work. All the arguments that they used against Dak are kind of weird to me because his ability, it just shows. Robert Bass, appreciate you, man. He said, hello, AKOYE. I like your film on Mozzie. I think Mozzie had a hell of a game in that Raiders game. He had a good game. He did the same thing he did in the Seattle game, though. He got turned on a play and gave up some yards one time. But other than that, I think he was more aggressive as far as getting to the ball, though. And what nobody pays attention to with Mozzie is now Mozzie has played more snaps as a defensive lineman or defensive interior lineman than any other player in the league. And everybody's like, oh, that's because he has to, they don't like what they see. No, it's because they intend on him playing and they don't want him to get tricked and be a liability in game time action. So let him get it out the way now. Let him get a feel for it so he can be at mid-season form by like week 3 or week 4. That's what they're looking to do. They're getting him into shape for what he's going to deal with. And he's going to be a rotational guy that comes in either for Hankins or with Hankins. So they wanted to get him ready for that. But remember, he hasn't played with any of the ones at all. So when he plays with the ones, you're going to see what I see. See, I understand that while I'm watching the film. I'm like, okay, yeah, even though he's holding this up, there's nobody here to cut this play back into him. So he's in a position, but he doesn't get to make that play because he doesn't have anybody around him that's making plays. You know what I'm saying? So those linebackers benefited. Speaking of which, I'll get to them in a second. Hold on. He's not a model person, but those are factors people don't want to hear. I don't think people are on Sam Williams' ass. I was on him because I just like to talk shit about these young guys who really need to get their mind together because they have an opportunity afforded to them that I don't want to see them fuck up. That's not coming from a hateful place. You know what I mean? I got, trouble with the police a lot when I was young. I was dumb. I wasn't getting arrested. I just would like do what he's doing. I would speed. I would race green lights. I got into a fatal car accident when I was 18 with no license. Shit like that. I've done stupid shit. I used to hang out the window on the E-way. I used to work for a pill packing company, and they used to have these marijuana pills. I used to blow those out of the machine when we're cleaning the machines and take those home and get fucked up. Do all kinds of dumb shit, man. But I'm not an NFL player, and I know how close I came to fucking my life up. So why wouldn't I say something if I see a young man doing the same? I'm going to say something. Sam about to get that Des Bryant off the field team security there if he keep going the way he's going. Loving Aries, appreciate it. Hey, what's up? Hopefully Slam Williams turns the attitude on the field. Yep. People complain when Dak wouldn't throw the ball downfield. Now he's becoming a gunslinger, and they complain again. Yeah, they don't like him, man. It's just that simple. Yeah, Brett Favre stole from the homeless shelters. I don't want to hear nothing. Yeah, that's facts. Ain't nobody talking about that. That's true. Joseph Randall was still in underwear. Yeah, man. Y'all killing it here, man. Dak will be the best QB if he didn't give a damn. Just hit the open man every time. Tom Brady never favored anyone, not even Moss. He wanted to win. You was a lie. I've seen Tom Brady throw it to Moss in double coverage more than a little bit because he favored Moss. He would throw it to Moss at any time. So you tripping with that. They went undefeated that year because of Moss. He didn't have to feed the ball to Moss because Moss was stretching the field. So yeah, everybody else got the ball because everybody else is guarding Moss. Like you tripping with that one. Perfect timing. That's a name that I needed to write down. Hunter Lipke. Hunter Lipke, dare I say it, everybody's arguing about where he should go, whether or not he's going to be. We're going to keep 4 running backs. He's not a running back. He's an H-back or he's a fullback, tight end type that can run the ball. So Hunter Lipke, I think because of his versatility, he's a guy that he buys a slot on this team. I think he should make this 53-man. Short yardage wise, he can do his thing. I think Ronald Jones is definitely still here, but he's suspended. But I don't think Ronald Jones has done enough to beat out Malik Davis and Dowdle. So I think Dowdle, Davis, Deuce, and TP are our running backs, and Hunter Lipke is our fullback. That's how I look at it. Or one of those 4 is not going to be here, probably Davis, and Hunter Lipke is still going to be the fullback. So I don't think that's going to change. If you remember what McCarthy did with Coons, who isn't even half the athlete Lipke is when he was in Green Bay, I think that's how they plan on using Lipke, a guy that's a goal line threat, a guy that can get out into the flats and hurt you. Kyle Kuschek is his name, I think. He's one of those types. You know what I mean? So he's definitely exciting. I didn't know he had that much burst, and then he has great vision for a big man. He's a Peyton Hillis type of guy. He got great feet and great vision for a big guy, and they call him the majestic beast, and it fits. Like that's a name that fits for sure. He nasty. I like Hunter Lipke. I like what he did. Excuse me. He's gonna keep giving us everything he has too because he's an undrafted guy. He said, "You killed someone?" No, someone killed themselves. Yeah, someone killed themselves. I didn't kill anybody. They ran a red light. A guy was drunk driving, ran a red light and hit me when I was 18. So he died, but so I was involved in a fatal accident, but I didn't. You know, I didn't hit him. He hit me. Yeah, he hit me and fucked me up. That's a CD. That's a CD he opened. I don't even know what you're talking about. Everybody wondering why Trey Lance got traded. Is deeper than that. Than it's deeper than rap. He got traded because you got guys coming up behind him while he was injured who got to show what they can do, and he's a top 3 pick. So it doesn't. You can't justify having a top 3 pick on your team when you got guys that's coming up behind him. You know he's not going to start over. Give him a chance. It's probably better for him to go somewhere else, and vice versa. So I think I think that's what they did. Okay. How you feel about Bohannon's development? I think Bohannon's proven to be a good rotational guy that can play behind Hankins. I think that's what he's done. He's been taking on double teams pretty good. He's moving okay. I don't think he can play alongside Hankins unless it's like goal line situation because he's not very fast. But I like what he's doing. He looks strong. He looks like he's finally starting to develop, and that's usually how long it takes for a defensive tackle to get there anyway. And he's looking like he's turning the corner. All right, finally, someone says TP Deuce and Hunter. Thanks to AKOYE Media. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely those are going to be the guys that hit the field a lot. I don't think the third back is going to hit the field all that much, but he will play. Will Golston and Nashon be cut? Didn't really flash in preseason. That's not true. Nashon, I didn't see at all. So I don't know what that was about. But Golston definitely flashed in preseason. He just didn't finish. Golston made a couple of plays where he got two hands on the quarterback. I need him to actually tackle him. But he's played well. I don't think Golston will be cut. Although Fihoko is making a case that he can do the things that you asked Golston to do for sure. Be that guy that can swing from defensive end to 3 tech and spell some of those guys. But I don't think Golston's going to be cut. I think if anybody's going to be cut, it's probably going to be Nev. Excuse me. Although Nev played pretty well in preseason, I like what he was doing too. But I think Golston stays, Nev goes. That's just what I think. I don't know. That's what I think. Another kid. Who else was balling, man? I think the whole receiver crew looks totally different now that we got a simple pass game. You got guys like Drummond, Billy, and then these guys, they were stepping up. You saw them trying to get Houston the ball a lot. But everybody, all the receivers look faster, and look better because they're in plays where I think it's a lot easier. This scheme is a lot easier to assess. There are a few players who deserve a spot who may not. Lipke, Wanye Thomas, Isaiah Lamb, Bohanna, but may not just be room for everyone. I think all those guys you just named, though, they don't let those guys out of the building. All four of those guys are safe. There's other guys who may deserve a spot who won't keep it. And if you want to say bust or it's a problem with him, and that's because he's been here. He hasn't been injured. He's had the playing time. He just not doing anything with it. Boss man might not be here because you got Eric Scott Jr., who is just as developmental, even though he doesn't like to tackle. I don't like his tackling, but even though he doesn't like to tackle, he's younger and I think they want to see what he can do. So if it came down to Wright versus Scott or Boss Man versus Scott, I think right now they probably keep Scott and let those guys go. So there are going to be some guys who you don't expect to get cut. And I think Boss Man is one of those guys. I think it's the Trey Lance effect. Like you got a second round draft pick, who should be higher on the depth chart. You got Jordan Lewis coming back from injury, who's probably going to make the 53 man. He's like healthy as he's going to be right now. And Jordan Lewis is our 4th or 5th corner, So if he's our 5th corner, our 4th corner, then we're only probably going to keep 6. That 6th one is probably going to be Eric Scott. So that means Miles Brooks, Wright, and Bossman are probably going to be gone, I think. That's just my guess. Now, remember I said that Miles Brooks, who's an undrafted guy, I think we'll get back on the practice squad, who I like. He played well in preseason. But Miles Brooks, Miles Brooks, Wright, and Bossman. I think those are the guys that are on the bubble because Jordan Lewis is already under contract, and I've already heard Dan Quinn say we need you around here. They want Jordan Lewis around here, and he's a top rated nickel corner in the league, right? So Jordan Lewis is going to be here. He's going to be here. Bland is here. So again, there's going to be tough cuts made in that corner room. Linebacker wise, I don't think Harper's going to make it. Harper, to me, played bad in Seattle. Played okay versus the Raiders, but he's not showing me the vision I want to see out of a linebacker. He's still kind of hesitant. So he needs some time. He might make the practice squad again, but I don't think he's going to make the 53-man. I think that Jabril Cox makes it. I think obviously LV is here. Clark is here. Those will be our linebackers going into the season. And then we'll probably push Marquise Bell to that fourth linebacker position and use him as a tweener so he can get on the field. Him and Wanye Thomas will probably fill that type of role. He was never wanted in San Fran. He was never a Shanahan guy. He was a Lynch guy, and Lynch gave the young man up that easy, and he's the GM. Think about it. It's deeper than his play from what some say. That could very well be the story. Like he was a Lynch guy, just like he's not a Mike McCarthy guy, obviously. He's not a that guy because Mike McCarthy didn't even know he was getting him. So it might not work here either. If that's the reason, then it might go the same way here. Our GM likes him, but nobody else does. I always like Gallimore too, Robert Bass. Like Gallimore was my pet cat a couple years ago. I always liked him, but I just don't think I don't think that Gallimore, and that's another guy. Like we have guys that can start. We could put a starting defense together with the guys we're going to cut. KJ and Wright could start. They're not great corners in this league. They're not top, but they ain't the bottom. If they started all year, they'd be okay. They would work out the growing pains by midseason. Gallimore is a good 3-tech for anybody. Not great versus the run if you double team him, but most 3-techs ain't. Aaron Donald ain't great against a double team either. So, it's like he a good 3-tech though. So he's one that could go who I think is good, pretty good. Armstrong, who probably I don't think is going to be here either. He can start somewhere else. So you already got a defensive end and a tackle and 2 corners that you can start. Harper could start somewhere or can play. I've seen play from some linebackers that's not as athletic as Harper. Harper's a good athlete, but it's still not clicking yet. And then we already know about our safety room. So I think with some of these guys that aren't going to be here, like Coyle might not be here, you know what I mean? He could play somewhere. I think Coyle was a little hesitant too in preseason, trying not to get hurt rather than balling out. You need to ball out, man. Yeah. He was supposed to be with the time and reps he's on the team that was expected. I would keep him for special teams, but that's about it. Yeah, if you're keeping your second round draft pick for special teams, then there's a problem. Is Goodwin in danger? That's the thing. Why would you get rid of Goodwin to keep Boss Man when you didn't draft the second round draft pick to play special teams? And he not gonna play. And the reason I say he's not gonna play is if he won't play, if he ain't jumped to the top of the depth chart this year, which he didn't with Gilmore here and Diggs and Bland, he ain't at the top of this depth chart. He ain't gonna be next year either. So next year, what are you gonna do? It's best for him to get cut, honestly. Next year, he needs to be gone so he can get a full camp in with somebody else and fight for a starting position, or he'll be out of the league in a year, maybe 2. So yeah, he needs to be gone. For him, you don't get rid of CJ Goodwin for that because he wants to start. Like KJ wants to play. But next year we're gonna be drafting more corners, and you still ain't gonna play. So then what? Like you just got pushed by Eric Scott Jr. And for real, if we keeping it honest, I think Miles Brooks is just as good or better than KJ now. Nobody will say that. I sound crazy when I speak, but I think so. So because he's an undrafted guy that I'm getting, same amount of pass breakups, I'm getting better press coverage in my opinion, and he's raw. So you give me 2-3 years with Miles Brooks, I think he's going to be better than KJ is right now. So he had 3 years to figure it out and still ain't got it. So his starting point, his current point is worse than Miles Brooks' starting point. So I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna be here, man. I don't think he's gonna be here. Semi is another guy who's gonna be going. Uh, he's gonna be going. Semi Fehoko, appreciate you, but I don't think he's gonna be here. I've been telling people Jordan Lewis been that guy. He not going nowhere. Oh yeah, no, Jordan Lewis not going nowhere, man. Jordan Lewis is a top rated slot corner. Like he was ranked in the top of the league. You know what I mean? Like people think that you trash when you're not getting interceptions, but they don't take into account what you're doing on film that's causing people not to throw at you all day. You don't see Jordan Lewis get picked on. You'll see him give up a play here and there where they might game him, they might trick him, and get one on him. Mostly deep crossing routes. Other than that, he don't give up much. He don't give up much. That's to you. There's nothing to see but others. The kid, that old school flavor, and I put someone in mind that he reminds me of. I didn't read the rest of it, Shakhtar, so I don't know what that is slided for. Or what you were talking about. Jay Jordan, I think this is the fastest team we have ever had on both sides of the ball. Agreed. And I bought Kelvin Joseph's jersey, shaking my head. Guess you know where that's going. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be here, buddy. I don't think he's gonna be here. Kelvin Joseph stepped up in the preseason. That's why he's probably gonna make the team. Tell me who gets cut to keep and how many corners we keep. We usually only keep 6. I told you, I named 5, and Eric Scott Jr. would be the 6 who we just drafted. Okay, let's do this again. Jordan Lewis, Diggs, Gilmore, Bland. Number 5 would be Mukwamu, or you can call him a safety if you want, but he plays corner. So number 5 is Mukwamu. 6 will be Eric Scott. That's how that room's going to look. That's it. Nobody else. I don't think nobody else is making that room. I don't. I would have rather drafted at 4th, to be honest. The trade. Fuck the trade. I mean, I wouldn't. I think that's a good trade. It's a smart trade. If I can get a first-round talent quarterback that I can develop on the bench, and I have a quarterback that is going to have to teach him, I think that's a win for the organization. It just sucks for Dak because they're saying, "Hey, you got to train your replacement," So, and then the guy said, Dak said he's not a bad kid, so he ain't gonna be an asshole to him, like Brett Favre was though. They asked Brett Favre about Aaron Rodgers. Says his job to learn. I'm not teaching him nothing. He basically said I ain't teaching him shit. Who do you think will be the next Ridgeway? Meaning a guy who we want to keep but won't clear the waivers. I just said it. I think Neville Gallimore will be that guy who we might want to keep but won't clear waivers. I don't think anybody else that we like that. I mean, they might surprise us, but I don't think anybody else we like that is getting cut that we will want to clear waivers. I don't think they will expose Land to waivers. So I don't think Land gets cut. I think Land. Somebody gonna be faking some injuries though. I think it's gonna be some guys that's gonna be on the injury reserve for sure, for some reason. But I don't think that they'll be cut. I kind of wish we went after Isaiah Simmons with the 4th round draft pick after looking after linebacker depth. I don't. I think the fact that we got so many safeties that play linebacker and we have guys who need an opportunity to play linebacker, like long-term wise, Simmons wouldn't have been a long-term solution because we all know Overshawn's coming back at some point in the next 2 years. Jabrillo Cox had Overshawn's issue, and he's back now. You got Clark, you got LV. Those guys are going to play, those 3. And then you got Micah Parsons, who will rotate at middle linebacker, take some snaps, not a lot, but some. So I think linebacker, you go for depth, not a guy who's a star. Because if you went and got a star at linebacker, it kind of messes the room up. Like when we went and got Barr. Barr was a star. He's a guy who could justifiably play more than these other guys. But you need to see what you have in Jabril Cox this year. Otherwise, you didn't give him an opportunity to really do anything. He needs to play this year. He needs to rotate in, and that's where he's in position to do that right now. I think Jabril Cox makes his team. He's been playing good in preseason, calm, but nobody talks about it. All right. Okoye, Sandra Love, what's good? She said, Okoye, give me a grade on the secondary. Hold on. Y'all hear all that? I'm cracking like a mother. I think the secondary is amongst the tops in the league. You might have guys who have, a safety here or there that's better. Like the Chargers have Derwin James, right? But we have a whole room full of guys who can make plays. You know what I mean? So I think our safety room is the best in the league. Not because I'm a Cowboy fan. I know they think that we are like fanboys, but I just don't. I mean, I don't play Madden. I don't know everybody roster no more. But if you guys have a room, a safety room that you think can contend with Wanye Thomas, Wilson, Curse, Mukwamu, who plays safety too sometimes, and Hooker, along with Coyle and Marquise Bell. Like, come on, man. Marquise Bell, Coyle, they can start for you somewhere. Not the greatest safeties in the league. You would suffer a little bit, but they both can play in the box. Pretty good. Okay. So they can start for you in the box. Hooker, single high. That's 3. Wilson, that's 4. Curse, that's 5. Wanye Thomas, 6. We got 6 fucking safeties. 6. Oh, did I say Mukwamu too? 7. 7 safeties. That's a lot. So that's an A plus room right there. And then arguably the top 2 corners in the league, duo. You got Ramsey and Xavier Howard. They pretty damn good. Don't get me twisted. But you could argue that Gilmore and Diggs are just as good, if not better. If you wanted to argue, if someone said Ramsey and Howard, I'm not going to argue. If somebody said Diggs and Gilmore, I'm not going to argue. I would be like, I can respect your opinion on that, as long as you're not throwing somebody a tandem up there that ain't worth shit. But those two, that's a top 2 corner room. And then as far as nickels go, you got 2 of them. You got Jordan Lewis, who I said is one of the top nickel corners in the league. Then you got Bland, who came in and led the team in interceptions from the nickel position. So you solid there. And then you got Mukwamu, who came in the playoffs and did the same damn thing. So, I mean, that's a top graded room right there too. I can't name another team that has that many, that has that much talent at both safety and corner. So, to me, our grade would be an A. It would grade it in letters. If you want a number, 90 overall group, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, we got some guys though. Our linebacker room is probably the weakest, and they're pretty good. I think we got a bunch of C grade players that have A grade potential, who are A grade athletes, who just are C grade awareness type guys. They just need to learn and get a little faster. LVE can't change direction, but he has A grade awareness. He knows where to be and what to do and where everybody else needs to be, but he can't always get there. You know what I mean? Whereas Clark is learning where to go, but has the athleticism to get anywhere he needs to be, as long as he's playing faster and less hesitant. Cox is learning where to go and can get there fast as fuck too. So both of those guys out there at the same time, sideline to sideline, is crazy. So the athleticism in the linebacker room is excellent, A level. The awareness is about C. I think we need to get better there, but that's going to come with reps and experience. So no problems there. This entire defense got better, and from top down, when you add Land to the pass rush room, they're better. They're better. When you add Fehoko to a guy that can spell D Law, you're not suffering when D Law is not out there. You're better. When you add Mozzie to the 3 tech room and to the 1 tech room, where you can spell Hankins, and you also could put him out there and replace that Carlos Watkins look, where we had Watkins out there with Hankins, where he's a guy that can now either soak up double teams or take advantage of the single team that he's going to get when Hankins is being double teamed. We got better. You know what I mean? So I like what we're doing defensively, Sandra. I do a lot. You said Josh Butler was not good. Lies. Now you're just playing favorites. Josh Butler played well, but he won't make the team. He did play well though. Him and I think the entire secondary played pretty good. We weren't getting picked apart in the air. You don't realize that? Miles Brooks played good. If anybody got picked on the most, it was Eric Scott. But Miles Brooks played good. No touchdowns, no big plays. Butler played okay in the secondary. KJ even had a lot of pass breakups in the preseason. Wright didn't play, but those three played well. They played well. I'm not gonna hate on him. I just don't think that I don't think he makes the team. I don't got a problem with KJ. Let's just make that clear. He can hit. He has good athleticism. I still think he's the best athlete in the cornerback room, just not the most cerebral guy. What's up, Lee? No. You asked to come, right? You could stay home with mommy, right? So don't rush me, okay? Okay, I can drive you back off. You want to go home? You can. Do you want to? I'm not threatening you. I'm asking you. Okay. Well, you gotta wait. All right. All right. Bye bye. Yeah, she be tripping. D4K not tripping on the trade. I think he understands where he stands compared to the kid. Coaching your own position makes you better. D4K will excel with Trey in the room. That's the first time I heard that angle. Like I said, I think Dak likes him. And I think Dak is a guy who likes competition. He's gotten better every time he's expected to play worse. He ups his game. So he's a guy that I think he's not weak minded. He's a guy that definitely will rise to the occasion and do his thing. So, I mean, I can agree with what you're saying. Yeah, we could have chose Asante Samuels instead of KJ. But, I mean, I like Bland just as much as I like Asante Samuels, so it worked out. Maybe Bland wouldn't be here if Samuels was. Do you like Schoonmaker? Yes. Or would you have got, or who would you have got with the second pick? I think when you coming at it from a perspective as you got a good team already and you need to replace certain guys, I think that's what they were looking at, and they did a good job with that. You know, we needed to stop the run, so we went out and got Mozzie to do that. And we needed to replace Schultz, we thought. So we went out and got Shoemaker for that. Shoemaker is huge. He's a good blocker. He can play out in the slot. He's fast enough, but he's huge. Big target, man. I think they're gonna take advantage of that. So yes, I think Shoemaker is gonna be good for a long time, and him alongside Ferguson again, we got a lot of rooms that you can argue are the best in the league. You know, I mean, even when you get down to our offensive line, nobody will argue that our starting five, when they're healthy, isn't amongst the best in the league. And then you got Awesome Richards, who can come in and play well, got good feet. You got Ball, who has experience. You got Walesko, who has experience. You got what you call Forniak, who has experience now. You know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of guys. You got Bass, who looks wild but good. So and then you got that guy Gardner, whatever his name is. It's another guy, 72. You got a lot of guys in that room who are developmental but good. You know, behind that starting five. So you know, you could argue that's a great room. The tight end room's a great room. You know what I mean? Got a lot of guys in there. If Stevens didn't get hurt, still a great room. You got Fant, who I think can play tight end, even though he's a little undersized. He's more like an H-back guy. But Fant, you got McEwen, you got um, um, Ferguson, you got Hendershot, you got and now you got Shoemaker, and then you had Stevens in there too. That was a hell of a room. That's a room right there. You know what I mean? Our wide receiver room is crazy. So there's a trade value right now for. I think Gallup's trade value is at an all-time high. If you're going to trade him, you probably do it now because the things that you're going to get from Gallup, a guy who can run routes and high point the ball. I've seen a lot of Jalen Tolbert doing that this offseason. So I think anything you ask Gallup to do, you could ask Jalen Tolbert to do. So if you were going to trade Gallup, it would be now. I like Gallup though. I respect his game a lot, but if you were gonna do it. That's one trade look that I would look at. All right. Hey, Okoye, is Coach Mike on the hot seat? No, no. If you go 12-5 twice and you're on a hot seat, then your organization is just dumb anyway. If he is, then it's dumb. You know, not saying that it could never be because Jerry has done some crazy shit, but no, I don't think so. KJ was one of the best corners in the league. I mean, in preseason across the league. All hate should really stop. He might not pass up Bland, but he's no longer being outplayed. That's lies. Who is he outplayed out of the starting lineup? He's outplayed backups against backups. Let's keep it a buck. Let's not make it seem like he out there against ones tearing it the fuck up. Bland has torn it up against ones. So no, you're not gonna pass Bland. Mukwamu has torn it up against Tom Brady in the playoffs and done great. So no, you're not gonna pass Mukwamu. Gilmore is Gilmore, Diggs is Diggs. J. Lou has been doing this for a long time. So I said that KJ played well in the preseason, but let's not act like he's past anybody. He's not going to, no. He's been outplayed still. And we're watching him in camp too. You watching him get his ass busted in camp. I haven't seen him break shit up in camp. So against ones. Have you? I know you haven't. So stop. DP, you know your shit, but you're wrong on that one, bro. Stop it. All right, let's see. I have a theory that Trey was traded to us because Shanahan can't develop dual threat QBs. Whatever. When they say dual threat QB, they keep coming up with all these misnomers for running quarterbacks. And to me, a running quarterback is not a quarterback at all until he learns to read the field. And as long as you know that you can just take off when you get scared or when your progressions aren't looking good, you're going to always rush your progressions. So I think it's best that running quarterbacks start to learn to play from the pocket anyway, especially when you're going to give them 250 mil. To me, it sounds crazy that you gave Jalen Hurts 250. I'm glad he got it. Get your money. Go ahead, young buck, get your money. But he runs the ball all the time. Somebody gonna put a hat on him early. You know what I mean? And then you got guaranteed money in there. So that's a $250 million investment that might get speared real soon. You know what I'm saying? Trey is basically a raw version of Kaepernick. He's only 23 and time to grow. He can do what Rush did last year, which is what? What do you mean? Come on, man. Stop. He's not on Cooper Rush level yet. He looks horrible with the ball in his hand right now. That's why. Did y'all watch his preseason? They put him out there. He got himself cut or traded because he played like shit. So that's true. Ukwamu played bad in preseason. Did Bland, and other KJ was by far the best DB in the league for 3 games. In the league? The league or on the team? The league? Come on, bro. Stop. I got $100 to say if he do make the roster, he's on special teams because he ain't passing Bland or Lewis. That's facts. Anybody betting that? All right, let's see where we at because y'all don't want to argue this KJ shit. I'm gonna get off that topic. He said Cooper Rush didn't play crazy last year. Y'all some ungrateful people, man. Yeah, y'all ungrateful as hell. Y'all ungrateful, man. That's what the problem is. Yeah, y'all ungrateful. Cooper Rush, man, I would definitely be pissed off if I was Cooper Rush and I had to hear y'all talk about him like the way y'all talk, man. Y'all crazy. He said across the league. He said Asante is a backup on the Chargers too. Facts. Yeah, man. Everybody who keep throwing these PFF grades up there, man. PFF is bullshit to me. I don't want to slander them because I use certain things, certain stats that they put out there. But their grading system, until somebody shows me how they're grading and how they come up with this shit, to me it's crazy. When they said this is what PFF said about Mozzie this year. He has the lowest run score out of any defensive tackle in the league. But what they failed to mention is they're basing it off the fact that he wasn't getting tackles. But when you watch the film, you can clearly see that he's definitely helping the run game and move and doing things. And then I said, well, maybe that's what they're saying is tackles, right? But then they had Nolan Smith graded at a 91 in run force. I'm like, he ain't got no tackles either. And I watched him do some bonehead shit versus the run. So what are you grading? I don't even know what they're grading. What are you grading? I don't get it. And then they didn't mention Mozzie Smith had taken more snaps at defensive tackle than any defensive tackle in the league. Any of them. 60. Then they said, okay, Jalen Carter has a high run grade score, right? I showed he only played 9 snaps. Only 3 of those snaps were versus the run. And each one of those 3 snaps, he got blown off the ball. All 3 of them. So what are you grading then? I don't know what you're grading. How can you can't say that in 9 snaps he showed you something versus the run? He didn't. So what are you grading when you say these things? So when people say PFF, PFF has had Trey Diggs as one of the worst corners. He's like number 50 one year, maybe last year. I don't listen to PFF. So when you throw PFF in here, you're always gonna get pushback from me. I don't give a fuck what PFF said. PFF is trash to me. They are. I guarantee you, when Ramsey was the bona fide best corner in the league and gave up 900 yards and had less than 9 interceptions, exactly. PFF had him as number 1, right? Yeah. They're not biased against Dallas. PFF just weird. They're weird. How do you have a low run grade when you were on the field for 60? At the time, it was 65 snaps when they wrote the article. Now it's 80 something snaps. And he played like 80 snaps in 3 games. That's crazy. That's a lot. That's more than any other defensive line player, and more than some defensive players. Period. I think McDonald from the Jets actually played more. That's it. You know, especially out of first round draft picks, he's the only one who's played more. First round draft picks, Mozzie has played more than any other first round draft pick in the preseason. Crazy. Why you so mad, bro? I'm not mad. I'm just talking my shit. Why do you think Dorrance gets cut? I think he's a beast. There's no way. Dorrance is a beast, but Dorrance is disgruntled. Have you heard of Dorrance this offseason? I haven't seen him, heard from him, none of that, right? I haven't even heard him talk about him. He might play, but Dorrance gives up a lot on the edge. I think someone mentioned that he was disgruntled about the amount of pay he's getting for 8-sack defensive end, not realizing that you only got those 8 sacks because of what Parsons is doing on the other side. So you should shut up and just keep getting your money. But, you know, whatever. Somebody told him that he deserves more. And, yeah, he might get more somewhere else. Yeah. Dorrance is pissed that Sam Williams is getting his snaps. Sam Williams is getting your snaps because Sam Williams is better. He said, I was just saying PFS is where the top 3 thing came from. Not saying you should care about PFF. No. I know. I'm just saying, like, when you bring up PFF, you're always going to get pushback from me for that. I don't think you know that, but that's why. Because I've seen times where PFFs have graded guys. Like I said, Trayvon was one of them. What they did to Trayvon that year was amazing to me. They started talking about the amount of yards he was giving up. I'm like, y'all didn't do that to no other corner. I've never even heard of how many yards given up until Trayvon's 11 interception year. Yeah. All right. If defense doesn't stop them, they would have lost the game, and Cooper Rush wouldn't have done shit to change it. Oh man. Okay. Ain't that every game? Ain't that every game? Name me one game where the defense doesn't stop anybody and the quarterback overcomes that 9 times out of 10. That doesn't even make any sense, bro. So why? And I don't get what's the incessant need to take the wins away from Cooper Rush. If he would have lost the game for us with interceptions like he did in the Eagles game, you would have definitely gave him credit for the losses, right? Regardless of what the defense did, right? So why, when he wins games for us, why take that away from him? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, bro. You sound crazy. Yeah, so you agree? You said PFF does some weird shit. They do. Yeah, I agree. He said you won't hear argument against that from me. Oh yeah, no, I feel you. I wasn't coming for you. I was coming for PFF because a lot of people throw PFF at me. You know, what up, Grandpa? He said, that's what he said. What up, Grandpa? Who will get the last spot at wide receiver? We keep a 9 or 10 O linemen. And who are they? I'll catch it on the replay. I have a doctor's appointment. Salute. Thanks, Jay Jones. Who's the last spot at wide receiver? So I think we might keep 5 receivers, maybe 6. But you got CD, Cooks, Gallup, and Tolbert. That's your 4. And then you got Turpin, that's 5. The 6th, oh man, the 6th gotta be my guy, man. Jalen Brooks, Jalen Brooks should make this team just barely by that. It depends on what he's doing in special teams because he's not gonna get a lot of playing time. But Jalen Brooks has played well. Outside of that, you got Drummond and Houston, and those guys will be cut. Yeah, those guys will be cut, and so will likely Cropper. He'll probably get cut too. But I think Jalen Brooks has outplayed Cropper by a long shot. And the fact that Jalen Brooks didn't even get on the field at all in the 4th game lets you know that. The only ones that were on the field were Drummond, Houston, Cropper, Fiocco. I didn't see anybody else. Those are your 4 kind of corners. I mean, 4 wide receivers that are on the bubble that are going to get cut, just by common sense. Yeah, common sense. Appreciate you on that, Brandon. Definitely shout out to Vach. He said, I'm more excited about this more simplistic offense to go along with our defense. No more reverses on the 30. You remember that? Hey, yo, every time we got on the 30, it's something about the 30-yard line is just so attractive to Kellen Moore. Somebody must have told him that. I don't know. But on the 30, that dude is a reverse beast on the 30. As far as the offensive line, I think we probably keep. We're gonna keep definitely, our starting 5. Obviously, I see Richards staying. Bass is gonna play. Whoever has the most versatility, I think. Y'all don't like this answer, but Ball has a lot of flex. Like Ball has played tackle, he can play guard, on both sides. So Ball is probably gonna make this team. Bass will likely make this team. But then you got Forniak and Waletzko, who might make it to. I don't know how many we keep, but it's crazy if we keep 10. That's a lot. But I don't know who we'll keep. It's gonna come down whoever can flex. I think Austin Richards, if he can play both sides, he has flex. We know that Tyron Smith has flex if we need it. If somebody still went down, Tyron Smith can play right tackle. You can make Tyler Smith play left tackle, or Austin Richards play left tackle with some help and keep Tyron where he is. So I don't know. I don't know who we keep out of all the offensive line, but I think Bass, Forniak because he can play center. You need a backup center, so Forniak's probably going to make the team because of that. They said Ball has a hip injury, so Ball might not make it then. But who knows? Fournier got short ass arms. That's why he's regressed. Okay, so Ball helps that room out with that injury. Didn't know that. As long as I don't see any more college plays, geez, yeah, I don't know what Kellen Moore was doing, but I'm happy about this offense too. But in closing, because we've been up here a minute now, Let's just recap. Does the signing or trading of Trey Lance mean, that Dak's days are numbered in some way, shape, or form here in Dallas? I know a lot of people want to make that the conversation. And to be honest with you, it could mean that, right? But there's only one person that's going to determine whether it does mean that. And the good thing about that is Dak Prescott. Barring injury or any weird ass calamity, Dak Prescott's destiny, just as it has been since he's gotten in here, is in his own hands. So if Dak goes out and does what we all think Dak can do, which we're all hoping he can do within the next 2 to 3 years, if he can get us past the divisional round, that's number one, and get us a Super Bowl appearance, or at least let it be known that, hey, we're going to be contenders for some years to come. And if he can get the fans to love him, because of see, in Rome, you ever seen the emperor in Rome, or they put their thumb up, down, mercy up, down. They give you the illusion that they're the ones making the decision. Although they can still put their thumb down if you say up, and they can still put it up if you say down, right? But then they get the backlash from the crowd, from the mob, right? And I think that Jerry is a guy who does listen to the mob, which is why this team is the only team that uses their media outlets the way they do to create narratives to get rid of certain players, because he respects the mob, because the mob creates the dollar, right? So with that said, Dak is still in control of that. He has to become an endeared figure in the Cowboys fan base by winning. And if he does that, then no, Trey Lance is not taking his job. That's not happening. Now, it could, but it will all be on Dak if he does. So nothing to fear. I think it's pressure. I don't like how it was done, because I think you could have much easily made this a better narrative on both parts, make it easy for Dak to be able to spit this out. So, oh yeah, they told me about it, because then it looks like you're still in control of the team, rather than coming out when no one asked you, no one made you do it, Jerry, because no other owners do it. Other owners do draft players and pick players up to replace their starting quarterback, but none of them get on the media, all in the videos. Like what Suge Knight say, dancing all in the videos. Come to Death Row Records. Jerry get in front of the camera and start going crazy like he ain't never seen the camera before, like it's the Greek, or the Freaknik 1994. Like he just started taking it all off. You know what I'm saying? Whenever the cameras come on, he go off, and he didn't have to go off the way he did. That's all. Nobody asked you about Hurts. Nobody asked you, did you want Hurts a couple years ago? You volunteered that information, Jerry. Nobody asked you. Well, they did ask you, did you tell Dak, and did you tell Mike McCarthy? You could have just said, yeah, we called them, or well, we didn't have time, but I definitely plan on sitting down with those guys because what they think is important to me. He could have said that. Jerry knows what to say out of his mouth. He says what he wants, and he says things with intention. And if you just listen, I don't sound so crazy when I speak about the writings on the wall, because I speak business. I understand what Jerry's doing. I get it. But if he didn't say something, it's because he didn't want to say it. And if he does say something, it's because he fully intends for you to hear it, and hear it the way he's saying it. And he said exactly what he meant, which is he was excited to get him. He did it like that, and he would have did it like that had Hurts fallen a couple years ago too. So tell you everything you need about to know about what Jerry thinks of Dak Prescott. But it doesn't matter what he thinks of Dak Prescott. The only thing that matters is what Dak Prescott thinks of Dak Prescott, and how hard Dak Prescott wants to go after his goals. So here as a Cowboy. So I think I think that we're playing into something that is a moot point at this point. We already know what Jerry thinks, and this is nothing new. So it is what it is. Outside of that, like I said, we talked about standouts. We got Wanye Thomas, who I think is going to be in a heavy rotation. I think that Marquise Bell makes his team too somehow, some way, maybe at linebacker. Hunter Lipke makes his team And I think he makes his team instantly better than last year because we have a guy out of the backfield other than Deuce Vaughn who can throw, and TP. You got to think about it. TP, Deuce Vaughn, and Hunter Lipke out the backfield. Even when you go in your two back sets, whether you go in power or you go strong, weak, or I form, if you got Lipke at fullback and you got Deuce Vaughn behind him, or Lipke at fullback and TP behind him, you still are a passing threat. Those two guys in the backfield are mismatches. Any linebacker, no linebackers can cover those guys easily unless you're like Fred Warner, Micah Parsons, or some of our guys who could run a little bit. But most linebackers are going to have trouble keeping up with those guys. So even when we come out with those formations, we can shift formations and go and do other things because we have Lipke on this team. He would instantly make this team a hell of a lot better. So yeah, and then you said Dowdle looks good too. You ain't lying. Dowdle and David, all of our running backs look pretty good. So, but Lipke makes his team because of his receiving threat. He makes his team instantly better. I didn't like what I seen from Bell. Me neither. I know he had a lot of tackles, but he had a lot of really bad run fits. Yep, that led to big runs. To my eye, anyway, I like Wanye a lot more. You and me both agree. Wanye goes through the block. Marquise Bell goes around the block or away from it. You can't run away from these guys in the NFL. They're going to just push you out of position, and the running back's going to adjust on the fly, and that's your ass. But yeah, he did that a lot too. So I do agree. I don't like Bell as a linebacker or a safety starting over Wanye at all, but I think he will play. Which running back's getting cut? It'll be Davis. Yeah, it'll be Davis. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it, man. Let me take my daughter out to the park so she can stop tripping. And I'm going to jump on a little later. I got a special treat for y'all. I got the rest of my interview with Skywalker Still. Well, not the rest of it. Y'all haven't seen any of it, but I've been editing Skywalker Stills, and I got the rest of Vaj, Law, and Foots. Their interviews too coming. And then I interviewed an Eagles fan who was a little disgruntled talking shit on Twitter, who I also got his to release. I was thinking about editing everything because I had started off editing everything, but with the time that it's taking and the fact that the season is coming, I'm about to do a Vlad TV style where I just put a little quick opener on those interviews and throw them out there so that way I don't have to edit as much and you can get them right now. So you'll see that all this week. It's gonna be a Koye-thon this week with those interviews. And then anything else that I break down, you already know. You guys will be the first to know. Make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button. Make sure you share this stuff. Hit the notification bell. Y'all can turn the bell on and off right now just to make sure it's fresh. Because as the algorithm updates, it sometimes forgets what we're doing over here. But yeah, make sure you guys do that and like, subscribe, share, tell everybody, tell your mama and them, your papa and them, all of them, man. But I love what I do, love y'all, and I'm out of here, man. Hold on, one question. I'm sorry. You think Bell makes it over someone like McQuamu or KJ? Who do you think makes it over Harper? Huh. I think Wanye's taking Harper's spot. I don't know about Bell. Bell, I don't. He won't take McQuamu's spot. I don't think Bell's done enough to take McQuamu or KJ off the team, personally. But you never know. You never know. All right, but talk to y'all, man. Peace.